Welcome back to Stories of Significance, and today we go all the way to Machakos from Mombasa and we meet Mary Mutula. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. I'm excited.
How is Mombasa taking you?
Mombasa is beautiful. It's not as hot as I was expecting it to be. It's amazing. It's beautiful, and I'm proud as a Kenyan to be here because that is the least we can do for a country: travel and have fun.
All right. Tell us about you. Who are you? Have you been? How did you grow up? Tell us about you. Let me get to know you at this instant on behalf of the audience.
Okay. So my name is Mary Mutula. My middle name makes people wonder. But then again, I'm a young person who is Kenyan. Let's leave the rest of the tribe and everything. And I'm a last born in a family of 4 children, and born and raised by 2 amazing parents. My mom, she passed on in 2021. I still miss her so much. And my dad, Mr. Raphael, Mutula. And I'm just a young person who is humbled by the steps that I've taken in different spheres. And I'm really grateful to my parents and my siblings and my friends who have been part and parcel in my growth. Yeah, so that's all I can say for now.
Did you ever go to school?
Yeah, I went.
I expected you to say you went to school. Did you even pass?
Actually,
I don't know.
I went to school like every normal young Kenyan. And I actually went to boarding school in class 3. Did my high school in Queen High School. Then went to college. My background is actually in education. I have my bachelor's in adult education. I have not practiced, but I believe the values that I have learned when I was taking my degree is what has really enabled me to be where I am. Well, I've taken like so many short courses, including some courses with World Bank. I've also done some with Kim, M&E, and several other courses that I've really taken.
So what drives you? You are dedicated to mentoring and training young mothers and youth for economic resilience, okay? And psychological well-being, which is amazing and remarkable.
Thank you.
What inspired you to take on this mission as a young lady?
Well, I would say I believe in kindness and holding another person's hand. And sometimes I work in the youth sector. Maybe as we continue the interview, you're going to ask me what else I do. I realized that young people are very important when it comes to politics. Or young people, you need to vote. Young people, you really need to, it's your right and responsibility to elect leaders in the country. However, immediately after elections, now young people become marginalized and vulnerable. Yet before elections, they were very important. And then again, with the young mothers, we talk about different categories of young people. But then we forget about the young mothers. Yet we really need to build on their resilience, help them have a sense of belonging in the community, and holding their hand and believing in them is very important. And really that drives me, because when you can be the angel to another person, and that is my way of becoming an angel to another young person in the country.
So in a world where, in an environment where we believe you need to have achieved this for you to do this. For you to have a young mother's program. I wonder if you are a young mother though. But there are these measures the society puts. It's like even when you are in a church, it could be even a youth day, but it's a grown-up who ends up preaching. You get the point? how are you able to beat those odds of the society standards that are set?
Yeah.
And then be able to empower certain people. You know, they will even ask you, are you even a mother? What can you teach us?
I know. Actually, I'm not yet a mother, but it is just becomes overwhelming in the community, where for you to speak in front of people, or you have to get married, you must be married. Why are you standing in front of us and you're not married? Why? What do you know about children? Yeah, why are you talking to us about it? And sometimes it's quite unfortunate to have people that really want to hold your hand, to hold their hand, really fight you. But then again, I believe in youth advocacy. I'm a voice, not an echo, and I use my advocacy in all levels. Sometimes I even go to rooms and I'm maybe the youngest, or sometimes I'm the only lady, a few other ladies. Yeah, so I just make sure that I'm strategic in everything that I do. And of course, I have women around me who really support me and who believe in me. And that really pushes me. Because sometimes, yeah, it happens in life. You want to give up, you don't feel like you're appreciated enough. But then again, there are people that you just call and they're like, we believe in you, you got this. And really that pushes me.
So in simple terms, I could tell any young person out there that you can become an outlier if you have a passion for something.
Yes.
The society will always have standards.
Yeah.
But then if you believe in a certain idea, if you believe that your job is to hold a certain category of people, you can become an outlier. Yes. You can beat the odds instead of sitting and saying, you know, I agree with what people are saying.
Yeah.
And I believe the gospel is that you need to pursue your dreams.
Of course. Yeah.
And the key question then becomes, have you gathered a few people around you who can support you, who can believe in you, and then you are able, you know, to start the journey and keep moving forward. Yes. If I may summarize your story.
Yes, yes, it's true.
All right, so for how long have you been doing this?
Well, I would say I have been a youth leader since childhood. I remember growing up, when I was asked, what do you want to become when you grow up? I used to tell people I want to become an MP. Well, I'm not yet an MP, but I hold different leadership portfolios, both in Kenya and in Africa, actually even globally, yeah. And I'm looking forward to that day that I will use my voice in rooms, in spaces, and make another young person really feel comfortable and just believe in themselves.
Okay. How long have you been empowering?
I've been doing this since 2018. Yeah, actually, how it started is one time we closed school campus, and my friend tells me, "There's this forum happening. Why don't you come? They're actually going to give you transport." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm idle. I'm not doing anything. Let me go to this forum." And when the stakeholders were introducing themselves, somebody mentioned I come from these organizations, and I knew a friend who was volunteering with them. So he invited me. That is like 2018, yeah. So I talked to him, and he invited me to a youth event. And guess what? That really was the time that she opened doors for me, 2018. Early 2018. And in October, I got my first appointment. It was a gazette notice by the then governor, Mutula, Dr. Alfred Mutula, to represent young people in the county budget economic forum. So that is when my journey started in 2018, October.
All right. How many people have you empowered so far?
It's a big number. I would say over 5,000 young people. Some, of course, directly. Some, of course, through networks and linkages through other people that I've really worked with. And it's been a journey, and it's really exciting. Yeah.
So let's go deeper on that. So what is it that you do with these people?
Perfect. Good question. So I'll just now maybe go ahead and tell you what I do here.
Yes.
Mary Mutula, I'm a global peace ambassador with Global Peace Chain, where we believe in preaching and talking about peace. Because, for us to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals by 2030, we have to really talk about peace. So what we do is we are currently collecting 1 million signatures, which are going to be presented in New York, UN, to have the youth voice when it comes to peace building for development. I'm also a Kenya tourism ambassador, which was actually commissioned early this year in February by Cabinet Secretary Penina Malonza in the Ministry of Tourism. And I'm also, through that, we came up with tourism ambassadors, where in the Secretariat, I am in charge of communications and partnership development. And just to mention some very amazing young people that you're working with. You're working with Samuel Jen, who is our president. We have Andrew Kija, who is the deputy president. Kennedy Olesile, who is actually the country director. We have Judy Oricho, who is in charge of the international delegates, and myself. So we have a total number of 100 ambassadors currently, where we have 50 Kenyans and 50 from different countries internationally. And I'm also an executive director, Youth for Sustainable Development, Machakos, where we empower and we're intentional of having the young people as a voice and not an echo. What we're doing in our organization is we are trying to help young people become active, resilient, and responsible young Kenyans through community-driven systems for change, where we see the young people as experts to the challenges they're facing in the community, and their voice being at the center of any decision-making, any policy advocacy that is really happening in the community. I'm also the chairperson of Machakos University Alumni Association, where I'm bold again to be the chair of people, amazing people, who have been there since it was in high school. You can imagine the history. And now recently we got chartered. And I'm also a Youth Connect Fellow with Youth Connect Africa, where I represent Kenya. And the government, that is the State Department for Youth Affairs, actually selected me. We were two Kenyans currently in the fellowship. And we were selected there because of the impact that we're making in the community. And I'm a proud fellow for the Young and Emerging Leaders project with Leo Institute Africa, where they are really mentoring us in our journey as leaders, young leaders in Africa, and really trying to understand how different leaders in Africa think, how they have made decisions, the mistakes they've made. Because of course, again, in this journey of leadership, you can never be perfect. Yeah, so they try to mold us and help us have a successful journey in our work. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Wow, amazing, good stuff. I'm asking myself, where have I been? I was waiting for my name to be mentioned under the list of ambassadors. I'm not there. Youth Connect or the alumni, I'm not there. What am I doing with myself? Anyway, at least you're doing something for yourself. At least I'm interviewing the one.
Thank you. Thank you.
By association, I have them.
You know what? Let me tell you something. I know you're interviewing me, but I need to celebrate you. Because I'm from Machakos. You're interviewing me because you appreciate what young people are really doing in the community. And you realize that most times they are never seen, they're never heard. We're just supposed to be seen and not heard. But then you're giving us a platform and you never know who's watching. Maybe you interviewing us, you're giving another young person an opportunity to believe in themselves, an opportunity to know that they can do it. So congratulations.
All right, thank you. I accept the flowers.
We need to give flowers to people when they're alive.
Exactly,
right?
exactly. I had questions.
Okay.
But I am, I feel like taking a different direction.
Okay.
And the direction is this. In all these things that you're doing, is there something you have always, or a message you have always wanted to deliver to the entire youth in the world? If we were live streaming this conversation to the entire youths, US, UK, Kenya, Africa, everywhere, is there a message you have always dreamt in your sleep that this is me giving a speech to the entire youths in the world? I feel this is where they are. Are you able to deliver it?
Yeah.
Please do.
Simple. Let me just look at the camera.
Yes.
Young people listening to me, it doesn't matter where you come from. Your dreams are valid. And one thing I always tell youth everywhere I go, the sky is for everyone. Fly the highest you can. As simple as that.
Wow. You have become like your friend Judy Rich. She's called to the stage to defend Kenya. And what does she say? Come and meet your origin.
Actually, let me tell you something.
Yes.
Listen, do you know that Kenya is the origin of humankind? It's only in Kenya that you have the oldest human fossils that dates back to 8 million years. Kenya is the only city that has a national park inside the city. And from the CBD, it's like 30 minutes. Why would we not be proud of Kenya?
Yeah, those tourists need to start coming, including us.
Please come. It's the high time for us as Kenyans to appreciate what we have. Let me tell you something. As tourism ambassadors, what you're doing is we are going down to the village level, half the world, trying to identify all the tourist attraction sites. Because sometimes you will understand that in Kenya we only talk about the beaches. Yeah, we never talk about our beautiful culture. It's diverse. Our cuisine. We never talk about cars. Yeah, we don't talk about the beautiful lakes, the mountains. Kenya is so rich that actually we are advocating and pushing and promoting Tembea Kenya, and you deserve a holiday. Yeah, and would actually like to appreciate the current Cabinet Secretary, Penina Malonza. She is intentional when it comes to tourism. And she's looking at, we really don't need to have like a low season and high season in Kenya. We need to have high season. Let me just give you an example. Imagine, how many tribes we have in Kenya? Let's say 40, yeah? Imagine if every tribe in Kenya had a special event, maybe a 1 week event, trying to showcase about their culture, their heritage, how they used to dress. Now, as Kenyans, most of the time, we only focus on the Maasai culture, most of the time, yeah?
And actually yesterday in the news, I think it's from Turkana, and somewhere around Kilgoris, there were two features in the news. One was about the hairs, the salon that is in the urban areas, which have been, the mohawk, which has been copied actually from Turkana, and they use, wanatumia jivu to do it, while you guys use expensive oil and all that stuff, which is not even healthy for your hair.
Exactly.
And the young men were being initiated into manhood in, I think it's part of Turkana County yesterday, I was watching, and there were about 1,000 of them being celebrated, and even the county governor was there and saying that we need to, celebrate our cultures. And sorry, I had to cut you short to tell you the news is doing it. Maybe we need to do it now.
Yeah, because think about it. People are willing to travel to Kenya. Kenyans should also be willing to travel and learn about different cultures. Imagine the revenue we can get to Turkana if we all flocked in Turkana to listen and experience about their culture, their initiation. Yeah? Instead of going to Dubai, why not go to Chalbu Desert here in Kenya? You know, we have everything in Kenya, and I would urge, please welcome to Kenya, because Kenya is a home of humankind. It's a origin. It's a place to be.
That's the ambassador speaking. I'm wondering, which role do you have in this?
I'm a proud Kenyan.
Yes.
I'm a proud Kenyan, and we just even see it. Kenyans, we are so united in a very beautiful way that even internationally we'll see. Let's talk about the sports. Yeah, let's talk sometimes about how you will see when somebody anachokoza Kenya.
Yeah.
What Kenyans unite and do. Kenya is just beautiful. Just even listen to a national anthem. I'll be proud to say it's very beautiful. Look at our map. Look at the colors of our flag. Yeah. Kenya is a place to be.
Wow. So, I read something about you having empowered about 4,500 girls against teenage pregnancy.
Yes.
How has that journey been?
The journey has been smooth, I would say, because again, we always have to leverage on partnerships. Yeah. So the way I do it is, first of all, I sit I'm a committee member in the Machakos County CESO network.
And what is CESO network?
Well, it's a consortium of all NGOs, CBOs, faith-based organizations that are working in Machakos. Yeah. So we have now that consortium, and I'm a committee member. So I've also leveraged on that space. I also sit in the teenage technical working group on ending teenage pregnancies in Machakos County. That is actually under the county commissioner, and also leverage on that space. So I go to schools and talk to both boys and girls, because where this pregnancy is coming from is just not from females, yeah. And how we even go ahead and do it is we donate sanitary towels as well. Not forgetting the boy child. We recently actually went to Kamundo, the sub-county in Machakos, and we even gave the young men boxers. Yeah? Because also realize that as much as we're empowering the girl child, we also need to talk up to encourage the boy child. So I partner with secondary schools as well. I've done that. Organizations, yeah. And that does not mean only in Machakos County. Like, I've traveled to Busia. There's this studio Rachel you had mentioned. There's Lillian Knight. I've gone to Busia. I've gone to Meru. Really trying to understand the challenges that young people are facing and what is really the root cause of teenage pregnancies, and having a conversation around it. And it's not only one time that you do it, we make sure that it's consistent. Yeah? Because when it comes to teenage pregnancies, I remember there's a time Machakos was really trending in a bad when it came to teenage pregnancies. And really pushed us to bring our hands together and really talk about it and become more intentional about it. Because again, I've been also understanding the youth voice. Again, I even forgot to mention that I'm Vice President Machakos County. Yeah. So also use that space to encourage other young girls. Like, you know what? Education is very important. However, if this has happened, now you're a young mother, you don't stop there. Yeah. You go back to school, build yourself, because resilience is a gift. And it's something that we have to build. Yeah? Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. I love the keywords, being intentional and consistency. And let me go a little bit deeper when you talk about girl child empowerment versus boy child empowerment. When it comes to leadership, I don't know, I might drift a little bit to the Bible. I'm a Christian. When it comes to leadership, a man is supposed to lead, you know, supposed to have a vision. And when a man does not, offer leadership, the community is in chaos, because that is his first job. But then you realize almost all programs are about women. Where do we find the integration? It's no longer balance, but the integration. That as much as, and that's why you will find now the ladies will become men, and the men are likely to become women. Because if you lose your leadership, somebody has to take over. And through women empowerment, the women will take over the leadership. And if the man is no longer the leader or has lost the leadership, I mean, you see these things in relationships, they're everywhere, you can see them. Then he has to submit now, okay? Whether it's at work, whether it's at home, because he cannot be trusted to provide leadership. It's that simple. Then which society are we building? I'm just thinking of myself. If we need to build the society that believes in leadership, then it means we need to have men empowerment or boy child empowerment. I've not seen serious movements around it, by the way. And if they're there, I don't see how vocal they are, because I've not seen them on social media or anything. But I know there is a lot to do with girl child empowerment. And I feel we are losing some integration in between there. So there is that integration I feel we are losing in the society. And I don't think we have a good future ahead if it keeps on being like that. I'm telling you for the truth. If it keeps on being like that. I know now we have stories like men need to talk, men need to open up. But even if they open up and they're not leaders, you get the point. I feel there is that integration we are missing in between them. I will be interested to have your comment on the same. Do you have one right now, or do we proceed?
No, I have a comment,
yes.
Actually. Well, I'll just start from where you finished. When you need to be a leader, first of all, for your own self. You have to believe in yourself. You have to be your own leader. Number two, I believe that it is okay for men to talk. It is okay for men to cry. And to be extremely honest with you, yes, there's been a lot of deviation to the girl child from the government to private sector. But the reasoning is women are more vulnerable. Yeah. Even the way you even started the interview, you asked me how has my leadership been? Yeah. And I just give you an example. A few years ago, I led a team in organizing the first youth in agribusiness conference in Machakos. And I had some senior government officials look me in the face and ask me, who told you you will come? That time that you're looking forward to having a very successful event, you have somebody who is supposed to be holding your hand ask you that. I had men who I thought were my friends say, hiyo kitu ya wamama itafeli. I was just a young girl, believing in young people in agribusiness. But let me tell you something. The event was successful. We even had somebody from president to come. We had different ministers from the county government come. Even also the deputy governor then, Engineer Francis Malik, to the event. We had 106 youth exhibitors in the agribusiness sector. It brought in 13 international and local NGOs as partners. The numbers that we registered during the event was 972, because we never expected to have a very big number. So some of the people were never registered. Women really face a lot of challenges. And that is why you find that somehow there are programs and projects that try to bring in the women voice a little bit more. That doesn't mean that there's no focus on the men. Yeah. However, because of the intention of bringing up women in leadership, for example, like Miss President, the question is, will we ever have a female president? Because we all know what happens in politics. I will stand up and want to be an MC or a women rep in Machakos County. And the first question will be, is she married? So if she's not married and she doesn't have a child, then how is she going to stand in front of us and talk to us? Let her first go get married. You see, those things and stereotypes that really attack women. Yeah. However, there are now projects, and actually the government is doing very well to make sure that there's a balance between the male child and the female child because of gender equality again. Yeah. Like I've given you an example where we were given sanitary towels to girls. And actually, some of the sanitary towels that were donated to the last activity we had in Machakos were actually donated by a boys' school in Machakos. I'll not mention the school. Because these are boys who are taking a key role in ending period poverty in Kenya. Now, we went ahead and looked for some money and bought boxers. Yeah? Because again, you might assume maybe these boys don't need boxers, they need them. So as much as we're having programs for the girls, we also have other projects for also the boys. So that now if you go to a school, you don't have now saying all the girls come sit here and then all the boys come sit here. It is very important for men and young boys, very young, to take part in empowerment without discrimination. Yeah. So we're trying to bring and make sure that we have both the girl child and the boy child empowered at the same time. Yeah.
I think that approach will work better because if we go deeper, say, this is how I think sometimes.
Okay.
You've been empowered. I've not been empowered. Building a relationship with you is going to be an uphill task. But if you are being empowered, I am being empowered, we can work on the same wavelength.
Exactly.
And I feel that's where we have a disconnect. Where we have, for example, due to the programs we have revolving around women, they are here. Now, a man is here.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
You get the point?
Yeah.
So these people will never meet at any point.
Exactly.
It's the same thing when we have a program for youth as a company, Serve Skills Limited. A parent brings their child to be mentored on leadership and soft skills. So the child is trained, is here. The child goes home to a mother or a father who has not been trained. The father and mother is still the same. So that is a wasted investment. Because if the dad or mom used to abuse the kid, they will still do the same.
Exactly.
If they used to come late, they'll still do the same.
Yeah.
So that's a wasted investment.
Yeah.
So could you imagine if you brought your child here and you also entered into another program, when you go both at home in the evening, you are at the same wavelength. You can have matured conversations.
Yeah.
So I feel that is where my disconnect comes in from.
Actually, mentorship is very important. And going back to what I do in Machakos, in Youth for Sustainable Development, we have a project called Dream Makers program, where we are working with young people who have cleared school, and some of them are not able to go to college. And we're looking for mentors. First of all, try to understand what skills this young person has, what they want to achieve, and what their goal is. We even help them to set up a goal. Like, tell them this, we train them, and then we give them some time to come up with a SMART goal in their life. Because like we're saying, we've realized that if there's no mentorship from the family unit, even outside becomes a challenge. That's now where we bring in mentors who really match and can support this young person develop. Because yes, it is a gap, but then now we cannot leave it there. And actually, I'm even excited that you're also doing the same. Maybe we can see what we can do together.
We have a program. It's called Bold Beginnings Academy, and it is for campus students and high school graduates. We have a whole curriculum developed. The first cohort graduated recently. Congratulations. And the gentleman over there is the one who was the coverage of the graduation. But what we want is to build leaders. You know, another biggest challenge we have is our education system. It doesn't feature nothing like that in the curriculum. Nothing. I came to learn about leadership out here, not in school.
In school, it's all about...
And the political environment, which has a lot of influence, does not teach us leadership. It teaches us politics,
which is quite different.
And that is why when we elect them, instead of leading us, they politicize us. So you get the whole disconnect. A political leader does not mean actually is a leader. It's just a politician, not a leader. So that is where the disconnect comes in. And that is the narrative I feel young organizations and young people like us. Now, this was your story. I'm trying to make it mine anyway.
It is okay.
You get the point? I feel that is where we are called.
We need to come together and find synergy. Imagine if we had young people from Busia. Imagine if we had young people from Kisumu, young people from Lamu, young people from Wajir, young people from my county, Machakos, meeting somewhere and interacting for good cause. Imagine them sharing their stories to one another. Imagine
powerful.
The power, the authentic, the greatness these young people can bring to this country. Mentorship is very important, and it's a high time as younger organizations to come together and find synergy and also maybe come up with projects where we can even have young people even travel, of course.
You take me back. Maybe you take me back. We do exchange programs outside Kenya.
Amazing.
The UK. I'm wondering, why can't we have an exchange program? I'm born in Kisii, so I am of 2 counties. But right now, Mombasa is my county. That's where I live. Why don't we have, like the Bold Beginnings, the 7 graduates, come to Machakos for 1 week exchange program? And the Machakos ones come here for an exchange program.
And we're also going to be promoting tourism as well.
And another thing in the same conversation is that from where I sit, your level of thinking and your leadership capacity is directly proportional to your educational level and to your exposure level. So if you've been exposed to this much, your leadership and impact and influence is this much.
You also think differently.
When you increase your exposure and your education, you keep exposing the impact and influence of your leadership.
Exactly.
So even if we train them within the confines of our counties, we are still doing nothing because we are only exposing them to the level of your own exposure. Now, if you brought them to Mombasa, they meet Otumbo or Ovi. And I brought the Mombasa ones to meet Double M in Machakos. That guy or that lady will become a totally different human being.
Exactly.
So
we really need to.
Or we take them to Busia and they meet Lillian and and they eat ingoho, They stop eating the chickens which are hatched here in Mombasa in a hot season.
They also get to learn to experience different weather.
Exactly. They take chicken which has eaten lizards. In Mombasa they eat, they eat loaves,
Yeah, the exchange programs are very important because, like, let me just tell you, there's this lady that I really admire. She's Anne Wanjoy. She's from Nyeri, and she just actually vowed recently as an independent candidate for women rep. And that lady is a young person who I really look up to. She recently, we'll find her in the World Economic Forum. And sorry to say this on camera, is the only black and youth. That is an inspiration to every young African that it can be done. Yeah. And then she comes down to Kenya and she's involved in issues to do with the environment, digitalization, laborers in our community, trying to have young people not think about where they come, the small village where they were born and raised, but then now thinking as a global, in a global perspective. That really even changes the personal lives of these young people. Yeah. So the exchange programs, let's try this. What's the worst that can happen?
I believe nothing. Before I came to Mombasa, there was this, is it a myth, a misconception, a stereotype? Kuingia, ni raha kutoka ni matanga. Kuna majini in the ocean. I've been waiting to experience these things. I've never experienced them. I think people need exposure. Anyway, through your work, you have undoubtedly faced challenges and setbacks.
Yeah.
I know some you've mentioned being a lady, organizing the agribusiness showcase and career fair and all that stuff. But then, which one is your major setback or challenge, and how have you been able to overcome it in this space? Maybe there is a lady who will watch somewhere here listening at the moment, major setback or challenge you faced. How did you overcome it?
I would say it's simply wanting to do something but not having the funds to do it. Because sometimes you may have a very big vision, but if you don't have finances to actually facilitate the work, then it becomes a challenge. So what I've been able to do is leverage on partnerships. For example, I may not have money to pay you as a mentor, but I will kindly ask you to come and volunteer your skills and services to change your life in Machakos. Yeah. And when organizations and individuals volunteer and assist me impact life, I may not reach the target that I wanted to, which is like a challenge because it can be even depressing. Yeah? But then appreciating the people who have really held my hand has really been good. Because sometimes you will hear somebody call me, "Hi, I got your number from so and so. How can I support you?" I have friends like, "Maybe do you have an activity that I could come and join and support in Machakos?" So that has really been really helpful to me.
I think this is going to be my final question.
Okay.
Mary, allow me to read it.
Okay.
Mary, your journey is an embodiment of stories of significance mission. Connecting, inspiring, and transforming lives through stories. What message or piece of advice will you like to convey to aspiring mentors, leaders, and change makers who are looking to follow in your footsteps?
That's a very deep question and very intentional. I'll just say this. We may not have angels that we can see, but then you as an individual, you're the angel to anybody who's close to you. Be kind, support them while you can. If you're not in a position, pray for them. That's the least you can do. But then above all, jitume. Nobody will ever come and get you from your house. You have to wake up and step outside, because there are enough opportunities for everyone, everywhere. Just look, they're everywhere. And then again, like I always say, the sky is for everyone. Just fly the highest you can. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is Miss President for Machakos County. I'm looking for the Mr. President, but for now I have just Miss President. It's been amazing hosting you.
Thank you.
And I just have 3 key things I've learned from this conversation. Number 1, be intentional. By knowing that you can't lead others until you lead yourself. And I know for sure that the hardest person, the most difficult person to lead is yourself. The moment you navigate that, you will become a leader that we will have to reckon with. So lead yourself intentionally. And never forget this. Be consistent. You will never become a brand as a leader until you are consistent in your speech, in your actions, in your doings, in your decision making. And that is when even the world will say, there lived a leader somewhere, and we remember him or her for 1, 2, 3 things. Aping and copying won't make you and take you anywhere. Just find yourself, lead yourself, and be consistent. Number 2, leverage on your networks. We say that your network is your net worth. So you have the network. Are you transforming it into your net worth? So leverage on those networks. If Mary is in your contact list, don't just fill your contacts list. Don't just make business cards to exchange them. Converse. Have quality conversations. Turn that network into your net worth in whatever that you're doing. Number 3, become a voice and not an echo. That's a very powerful line. So I kept asking myself in this interview, am I an echo? And what's the difference of an echo and a voice? In my own, when I was dissecting that statement, it has come to a realization that when I don't communicate my vision, when I don't live that vision so that when I communicate it, people can feel it inside of me, they can see it inside of me, they can see I am emulating it, then I am an echo. But when I live it, I communicate it effectively in my social media, in the way I dress, in the way I behave, in the way I handle and deal with people, either with kindness as we've been told, even in praying if I have nothing I can do about it. I am an echo, but by doing it and living it, I become a voice. So, can we stop being an echo and be a voice? And I believe by being a voice is by doing the work, not dreaming about it. No greatest dreamer has ever been remembered. The only dream that we remember is that one of Martin Luther. And it was a living dream That is why we remember it and read it in history, because it has even been achieved, by the way.
Yeah.
So let's go out there and do something and say something. It has been an honor hosting you, Miss President Machakos Mary Mutula. Up to now, let us say it's been an amazing moment of connecting, inspiring, and I am completely transformed. Adios. Is that what they say?
Pleasure. Thank you for
Pleasure,
having me.
pleasure. Amazing, amazing.